Hi, I'm Lisa Lunt. I'm one of the solicitors representing the victims of Primidos. In this next video, our client, Ann Lorna Holford, talks about how she was prescribed Primidos and how that impacted on the life of her son James.
Hi, I'm Ann Lorna Holford, and I'm James Holford's mother. And I took Primidos when I was pregnant with James. At the time I was 19 years old, and I got a 5-month-old baby boy. And I went, and my baby boy had been a little bit sick and I'd been feeling nauseous. So I went to the doctor because I was feeling nauseous. And he examined me, felt my tummy. He asked me if I could be pregnant, and I told him I hadn't missed a period. So he examined me and couldn't determine whether I was pregnant or not. He could feel nothing. So he said, right then, well, take these tablets, and if you don't have a period, come back to see me in 1 month's time. He didn't say what the tablets were for, but I did presume that it was to see if I was pregnant or not, from what he said. However, I also wondered if it was to stop me feeling sick. Anyway, 1 month's time, I hadn't had a period, and it turns out I was pregnant, although I didn't know I was pregnant when I went to see the doctor. And so then 9 months later, James was born full term, but he was born with an abnormally small head and quite weak and underweight, and had great problems feeding, and he had great problems feeding for a long time, many years. Between us, with help from my mother, we managed to bring him up, and the doctors clearly thought we wouldn't raise him. They expected him to die. It wasn't until, well, he always sort of thought that maybe it was those tablets that I'd taken that could have caused those problems. But I didn't know anybody else who'd had any problems like that. So I just put it out of my mind and, stopped thinking about it until I saw Marie-Leon on the Sky News. And her story was the same as mine. And the penny dropped. And that's when I joined the association. But we have James, who needs a lot of looking after, even though he can live on his own, but he lives on his own with a great deal of support from us, daily support. And he can't tell the time, he can't read, he can't write. It's just constant care with him. Now, myself and my husband, we're approaching 70 years of age. I'm 67, and my husband's a little bit older. Who's going to look after James? His elder brother is not in this country, not around. He's in and out of this country with his job. So, who's going to look after James? I also want other people to know about it, and maybe other people who are affected to come forward so they can have justice too. What I've learned since joining the association is that after asking for my notes and James's notes, it seems the doctor has falsified all the notes. In fact, if you look at my medical notes from my GP, James was never born. I was never pregnant with him. My first son was born, and then, 6 years later, I had a cold, and that was it. And James was never born. And also, when I took James to the doctor, when he'd be about 4 years old, the doctor said to me, well, James is registered with us. And yet, that very doctor had been having letters from paediatricians and orthopaedic specialists that they had referred James to those people for their opinion. And they were receiving letters and yet they were still denying that James either existed or was registered with them. It's that makes me so angry. That fraud, that cover-up makes me more angry than anything.
If you think you or someone you know may have been affected by Primidos, please visit our website www.spglaw.co.uk and visit our Primidos page.